Hello and welcome. This is Pam. Today I'm going to be sharing with you healthy holiday appies and drinks and meal ideas so that you can enjoy the holidays and not sacrifice your health. If we haven't met, my name is Pam Bartha, and I'm the author of Become a Wellness Champion, and I am the founder of Live Disease Free. Over 35 years ago, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and I was told there was nothing that I could do to change the course of my life, that I would be completely disabled in time. And I was devastated. I could not understand how that was possible, how you could be a perfectly healthy person 1 minute, and then a few days later, you're losing all your vision in your left eye, and you're starting to feel headaches and just horrible. And then you've got this incurable disease, and there's nothing you can do to change the course of your life. So they were wrong. They were very, very wrong. Early on, I learned that I was dealing with infections. I was dealing with parasites. And so diet is super, super important. So long story short, by the grace of God, I learned how to treat those infections, live MS free for over 35 years. And now I've had the amazing privilege to coach and support hundreds of people all over the world in their recovery from chronic disease. So today we're going to be talking about what can we eat over the holidays that tastes wonderful, that tastes amazing, so that we feel like we're enjoying ourselves, but it's not sacrificing our health. It is not setting us back. We don't want to start 2025 like, oh my gosh, I've got to set my goals because I've gained 10 or 15 pounds. I feel like death. I feel horrible. My symptoms are worse. Maybe I've had a flare. No, that's not what we want. We want to go through the holidays and have the energy and the feeling happy and the strength and the mental clarity to have a wonderful time with our loved ones and to get through the holidays and maybe go for walks and do some fun things depending where you live, have, play in the snow, whatever. But then in 2024, like when you start the new year, it's like, okay, I'm better off now than just before the holidays. I'm feeling really good. I'm ready. I'm ready to conquer this disease. I'm ready to recover. I'm ready to conquer these parasites. And so that's what we help people to do with the Live Disease Free plan. But today it's all about the holidays. So we're going to talk about some ideas. I'm going to give you some ideas so that you can prepare, because our wellness champions are having their US Thanksgiving next week, so just in over a week. And so this year I'm a little earlier, just trying to help you to kind of make some lists and figure out what you're going to have, what you're going to serve, what you're going to bring to different events that will help you to stay on track so that you don't end up suffering more, because many of us have suffered tremendously. All right, so we're going to start with, let's start with like, how can we be successful with this? Because we generally have certain customs, right? We have certain things that we've eaten for years and years. And the problem with that is that it develops certain, not rituals, but just we crave certain things because we've had them since we were a child, maybe certain cookies or certain cakes or certain dishes, right? That they're part of, we kind of feel like they're part of who we are. And that's not true. So that's maybe what we're used to, but we can make different habits. We can change our taste buds really easily so that we enjoy other things just as much, and it isn't going to make us feel horrible. And that's what I'm going to share with you. I'm going to share with you some ideas. But because it's only a week away, Thanksgiving is only a week away, we have to remember that maybe this year when you go through Thanksgiving, I'll give you lots of ideas so you will be able to eat well and it'll taste good. And you might miss a little bit of the things you have had for many years. But next year, next holiday season, you'll have, if you follow this way of living and you get your life back, your taste buds will be very different. And you'll be like, I just don't even like that anymore. I like this now, right? So in order to get through these holidays and to not set your health back, it really requires you to prepare a little bit. So we're going to talk about some different different snacks, appies, drinks, main dishes, side dishes. And then all of this will be on a blog post. It'll be published by the end of this week. If you're on our newsletter, if you have linked with us, go to our website, livediseasefree.com, enter your name and email address, and then you are going to always know when I go live. You'll always knowing when I'm releasing new research and material. You'll have this blog post with all of the different recipes and ideas so that you can make your shopping list early. So just being prepared. So if you're going to go somewhere, then what are you going to bring, right? And then you need to have the ingredients in the home. Whenever I would go to events that I'm not sure, like maybe we're all bringing dishes, or maybe there's appies there and there's drinks there, and I'm not exactly sure what they're going to have, I will eat before I go because I'm slim and I don't want to lose weight. And then let's say if they didn't have any appies that I could eat, then I'm very satisfied because I've eaten already. I'll just have my drink that I bring along, or they'll have water or sparkling water, and I'll just focus on relationships, focus on networking with people and connecting with them and just catching up with them. But if you are making your own Thanksgiving dinner, or maybe you're invited to family, and I know a lot of family, if we're sick, if we have a diagnosis and we're trying to eat healthy, our loved ones care and they really want to help us. So they'll say, like, is there anything I can make for you, right? And let them know what you can have and what you can't have. So, but then also you could bring a dish along with you. That's another really wonderful thing. So the key is to be prepared, to plan ahead. That's the biggest thing, is to plan ahead so that you know which appies you're having, what drinks you're having, what side dishes, what meals. You have all the ingredients, and then you have a bunch of leftovers, which are really nice, and then you can just enjoy. And you will enjoy the food too. I'm not going to go over the Live Disease-Free Diet Guidelines right now because they are on our website, livediseasefree.com. livediseasefree.com. You'll find the Live Disease-Free Diet Guidelines under the main menu under research. And so that goes into a lot more detail. So you'll find a cheat sheet, you'll find a short video, you'll find a longer video with kind of what I eat for breakfast, lunch, and supper. This diet, the Live Disease-Free Diet, it is life-changing for people. And it's all about getting your carbs low enough. So the parasites that are causing your symptoms, that are giving you the foggy head, making you feel exhausted, like just so tired, and maybe brain fog and weakness, mobility issues, spasticity, numbness, there's so many different symptoms, depression, anxiety. All of these symptoms, usually the biggest cause are these infections, and they thrive on carbohydrates and simple sugars. So as you decrease those simple sugars and carbohydrates, you will notice that you're feeling so much better. Because the parasites are less active, you have less inflammation, and then your symptoms start to improve. So you can actually follow the guidelines that I'm giving you, and you can actually start to feel better over the holidays, where normally you would be feeling worse because you'd be having alcohol and caffeine and sugar, right, and processed carbs, and the parasites would be having a heyday. They will be binging along. And so if you don't do that anymore, they're going to be more quiet, and you're just going to go, wow, this is awesome. I feel so much better. So being prepared is number one key. Like if you don't have the right food with you in the house, bringing it along to an event, then you're just going to kind of grab whatever and you're not going to feel well. Let's talk about holiday drinks. So I personally love just sparkling water. And there are so many different brands now. You can find them in grocery stores and Costco and health food stores where there is no sweetness to them. And it's just the essence of a specific, it could be any kind of fruit. So they're naturally flavored. They're naturally caffeine free. They're not sweet tasting at all. Even if they put some kind of stevia, don't have anything that tastes sweet. You want to get rid of your sweet tooth because it totally is freedom. So the sparkling waters that I like the best, would be San Pellegrino or Perrier with some fresh lemon or fresh lime squirted into them. That is my favorite. I enjoy those more than the flavored waters that don't have any sweetness to them. With all of the sparkling waters, just be aware that if you drink them daily, they will be hard on your teeth, on your enamel, right? It breaks it down. So that's why I wouldn't drink it all the time, but for a special occasion, it's great. Again, I wouldn't drink, fresh squeezed lemon or lime in my water throughout the day all day long either, because that is hard on the enamel of your teeth. So as far as the warm drinks, we would avoid any decaffeinated coffee because decaffeinated still contains some caffeine. And caffeine will stimulate us, but it will also stimulate the parasites. So we don't want to stimulate them. We do not want them any more active than we can make them. We want to make them as quiet as possible. So then we will have teas that are naturally caffeine free. So that's different than decaffeinated. So we want naturally caffeine free, and we want teas that don't taste sweet. So there is a company called Tega, Tega, and it has an Earl Grey naturally caffeine free tea. It tastes like Earl Grey. It's delicious. There's also, I wanted to mention it here because I don't think about it often, but cistus tea is really lovely. Cistus tea. And cistus tea is really helpful. We use it as we are recovering from parasites. So it's got a lot of phytonutrients in it. That's amazing. And so you can drink cistus tea, so that's a little bit more medicinal, but it tastes good. So it's kind of like a double benefit there. But the other teas that are really lovely would be peppermint tea. That's one of my favorite. Chamomile tea, lemon ginger tea. There is Celestial Seasoning, and they have it's called a sleepy time tea. It doesn't really make you sleepy, but it's like a spearmint with chamomile mixed. Really delicious. So again, you're looking for teas that are naturally caffeine free. And then Tazo has some different teas. Just make sure there's no sugar in it. I wouldn't do this sweet orange, but there is this purple, I can't see what the name of it is. It's too far away, but I can't remember the name. It'll come to me. It's a purple tea that's from Tazo. It's really nice when you chill it in the summer, but you can have that also in the winter time. But if you're looking at different teas, just look at the ingredients. Make sure that it does not have sugar in it. Make sure it doesn't like an apple berry tea. Anything that tastes sweet on your tongue, don't have it. It will feed the parasites. I promise you, if you try this, it's going to be life-changing for you over the holidays. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I don't have stomach pain. I don't have stomach aches. I don't have the brain stuff going on. I have energy. I can do so much more with all my guests and with all my friends. And it's really wonderful. So lots of different teas that are wonderful that you can use. But again, making sure that they are not decaffeinated because there still is caffeine, and caffeine definitely will aggravate or stimulate the parasites. Condiments, dips, and sauces. So mayonnaise is incredibly versatile. Mayonnaise is something that you can make a batch of it, and then you can just use it for different things. You can use it for like a ranch dressing for vegetables that are low carb, and that would be a much better snack than having even nuts and seeds, because nuts and seeds are higher in carbs, they're harder to digest, so they will feed the parasites more. But if you're eating low carb vegetables with some mayonnaise, you can put herbs in it to make like a ranch dressing, but you can make a spicy mayo dressing. You can make a creamy Caesar salad dressing or just another creamy dressing, absolutely fine. It's endless, the opportunities with mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is just wonderful. So on our website, livediseasefree.com, under the guidelines, or I should say probably under the holiday meal ideas. So you can just do a Google search for Live Disease Free and holiday meal ideas, and you'll find a blog post that we're going to publish. And there you'll find the recipe for the mayonnaise. That's just a really good, simple recipe. There's lots of other ones, but this is a really popular one that our students find that they really enjoy. So the veggie dip, one thing I wanted to mention too, when you're making a veggie dip or different things you're doing, my son-in-law is a chef, and he told me about these zester graters, and they're really great because you can take lemon or lime or even orange, and you can grate the outside peel. So it's better if they're organic. It would be nice if they're organic. And you can take the outside peel by putting it over this grater, and so you get this really fine peel, and you can just put that on like if you're oven roasting vegetables, you can put that on when they're done oven roasting them. You can squirt a little lemon on them. You could put a little bit of this lemon rind or orange rind or lime rind, whichever you prefer. It's usually lemon or orange. And that is really delicious in dips also. So the rind of the lemon or the orange it just kind of really brings up the notch of flavor. It's amazing. So, and the creamy Caesar salad dressing is also really lovely. And it can be just using the basic mayonnaise recipe. You can add in some anchovies, salt and pepper. You can use apple cider vinegar. I personally, we omit the cheese. For myself, like I can do a big bowl. Like for other people, I can put Parmesan cheese. We usually just don't do the breadcrumbs because we don't bother with it. But for myself, I'll just have the dressing on the romaine lettuce, and it's delicious. And I have no issues. It's great. The thing is, you feel so good eating this way that you enjoy it. It tastes really good. You still have a lot of flavor, but you don't have the pain and agony after that you would if you have parasites and chronic disease, and then you feed the infections. Homemade guacamole is also really nice. Just be careful because guacamole is a little higher in carbs. So if you're having a small amount, that's fine. Add lots of fresh garlic in there. Again, if you chop it up, that's fine. But if you use a zester grater, that will make it a lot more fine. And then the garlic flavor will be more mild throughout the guacamole. You're not going to get big chunks of garlic. So guacamole is delicious. And then you can add cilantro in there. You can add salt and pepper. There's also herbamare. That is a seasoning salt that we really love for years. I've been talking about it, herbamare. So I'll just leave it up here for a second. Herbamare, and it's just like a sea salt with different herbs that are dried in with it. It's delicious. It adds a lot of flavor and body to soups and stews and dips, etc. With respect to mayonnaise, I make this mayonnaise that people say is just like to die for. They say it's just, it's so funny because I don't have a recipe. Take your homemade mayonnaise and then add in some garlic, as much as you want. And again, you can chop it up, or you can use this zester grater to add the raw garlic into the mayonnaise. Also, you can add some of the herbamare salt or just even salt. And then I bought this organic no salt seasoning from Costco, and I just sprinkle some in, and I don't even measure. I just kind of like add a bunch and taste it, and I go, oh, I'll add some more. And people just like, they're like, this is so good. So that is something that you can have, and it's not going to bother you, and it's not going to feed the infections, but it will taste really good, and everyone will love it. Like people that are not on a diet, or they'll just absolutely love it, and they'll eat it with chips, they'll eat it with everything. And what you can have with it is you can either buy vegetable platters, or you can make your own vegetable platters with better quality, because a lot of times the vegetable platters you buy, the vegetables don't look very good. So if they don't look good, just make your own and just get some. Careful with the cherry tomatoes, don't eat too many of those, but cauliflower and broccoli and celery and cucumber are really safe. The green string beans, if they're not tough, they can be really nice and crunchy. Costco usually has some that are pretty nice and like tender, but you can definitely use that for dipping any kind of vegetable. And you can make it into a spicy mayo. You can make it into like a ranch mayo, but our students in our program, they absolutely love mayonnaise, and they'll use that for their snacks with their vegetables because they don't want to eat a lot of nuts because the nuts make them feel terrible when they're recovering from disease caused by parasites. So different appies, cucumbers make really great, cucumber rounds make really great substitutes for crackers. We really like cod liver. So you can get these tins of cod liver in like a Mediterranean specialty store, and you just take a little bit of it, and it's very soft. It's kind of like a pate, and you would just press it down on the cucumber round, add a little bit of pepper, and you get a whole bunch of vitamin A from that also. And also, we love smoked salmon, but make sure that it's sugar-free because sometimes it contains sugar. So you have to read the back very carefully that it says smoked or that it says sugar-free. You can make your own homemade meatballs from beef, chicken, turkey, or pork. You can add in whatever spices you want. I just put an egg in with usually about a pound of meat with one egg, mixing it and just adding whatever spices and seasoning that I want, and that they're absolutely delicious. And you can dip the spicy mayo in, or you can dip the meatballs in the spicy mayo. You can also do prawns, whether they're quickly pan fried or however you're preparing them, but they're really great with the mayonnaise. You can also do, if you want to get really fancy, you can do deep fried Brussels sprouts. Those are delicious. My son-in-law made those one time, and you can have a spicy mayo with that too. So those are all different options. There's chicken wings. There's I talked about the deep fried Brussels sprouts, oysters. I don't like oysters. My husband does. And there is chicory, which is like a little plant. It's like a little bulb. And so you can pull the leaves off, and they look like little boats, and you can fill them up with whatever you want to fill them up with. Some kind of a meat dip, whatever. And then also deviled eggs. So that gives you some different ideas on appies that are really tasty. And if, of course, like if there's a sausage that maybe you've made, or maybe somebody that you know has made, and they haven't added any sugar, they haven't added any fillers or binders, then that would be also acceptable too. Let's go on to the meals. So some different meal ideas that would be lovely. You can, so like, I personally love turkey. I just absolutely love turkey. But it worked out like we had our Thanksgiving in Canada a few weeks before yours in the United States. And it was like half of our family went to another province. And so it was like, it was going to be just Caroline and her husband and Kevin and myself. It was just crazy. It was like so small. And then all of a sudden my son and daughter-in-law, their reunion got canceled. So they didn't go. And I didn't have enough time to thaw out a turkey, and I wasn't going to buy a fresh turkey like the day before. It's like so expensive. So we did a pork roast, and that was really, really lovely, that pork roast recipe. So you don't have to have turkey. I personally love turkey, but it's totally up to you, whatever you want to have. Like some people love, a big beef roast or pork or turkey. And then if it's just a small number of people, you can find these really nice turkey roasts that are just like a turkey breast that's all put together. And I've cooked those before too. And I just went online, and I encourage you guys just to look around. So just look for, best turkey breast recipe. And so there was a recipe there where you take all the different herbs, and I think you mix it with butter or something like a fat to hold it together, and you just maybe make a rub on top of the turkey breast, and then you bake it. And the whole key with a turkey breast is just don't overcook it. And it was so delicious. It had all the thyme, and I don't know if it had rosemary, but sage and thyme and probably rosemary and a few other herbs. And I actually made it for us one time, but then I also made it at my daughter's house, and she said it was so good. So you can still do cranberries with that. Like if you're really, really sick, then I would just avoid cranberries. But like as you get better, like I'm so hard. I'll make cranberries for my family that have all the sugar in it. But I really like tart cranberries. So I put like virtually a tiny bit of honey in it, but it's really sour. And I really like that. And I'll have a little bit of that on the side. And that is my big cheat, right? And that's not too bad. As far as the mashed potatoes, we do make mashed potatoes for the whole family, but I just don't have it. Or you can do mashed cauliflower, which tastes really, really good. I've done it before, and it's very light and whipped and fluffy, and it tastes good. The gravy, we haven't been thickening our gravy for years for the whole family. And so it's like au jus. And so you can just pour a little bit of whatever gravy is from your turkey on your whipped cauliflower. If you are dealing with chronic disease though, like once you're well, right, you can start to make some changes like I did, like with the cranberries. But I would personally just skip the cranberries for sure, because it's going to have a ton of sugar in them. And just have everything else. Have the meat, the gravy. You can have whipped cauliflower. You can have different vegetables. If you're doing oven roasted carrots, they're really great, but just don't eat too many oven roasted carrots because they turn high glycemic when you oven roast them. So just have a couple. But there are so many other things you can do. You can do whatever vegetables you like. There's wonderful string beans in Costco in Canada. They have really nice string beans for wherever they're getting them from. So there's lemon, ginger, broccoli. These are all recipes that we have that we can share with you on our blog post. What my son-in-law did is he took asparagus and wrapped it in prosciutto and cut it. I think it was cut into little like chunks, and it was absolutely delicious. So that's a crispy prosciutto wrapped asparagus is another appetizer side dish. Oven roasted carrots with thyme, lemon, ginger, broccoli, creamy mashed cauliflower, roasted Brussels sprouts. So I wouldn't put any balsamic vinegar on it. I would just like do some olive oil and some salt and pepper. And remember I talked about the rind, like the lemon or the orange rind, like sprinkling that on top at the end. And I noticed that my son-in-law would do like a squeeze of lemon over a lot of different things. Like he'll add a little bit of lemon, or not as much lime, but a little bit of lemon, just to kind of finish things off. And then there's also a colorful kale salad. Colorful kale salad. So as you go through the holidays, just be aware that, if somebody's cooking a ham, there's usually a fair bit of sugar in ham. So I would avoid ham. Be really careful with bacon. Bacon is notorious for having sugar added to it. Sausages also, unless you know where it came from and you have specifically asked them and you trust them that they're telling it to you. Because a lot of times they're like, no, I don't think there's any sugar in it. And there is. And we've had students in our program that were like improving so much, and then they got ham from a local butcher. They swore there was no sugar in it. And then they found out later that they were having like neurological, like a little bit of burning or tingling symptoms coming back, and asked. And sure enough, there was a little bit of honey added to the ham. So you just have to be really careful. And, there's a lot of foods that are healthy that we're avoiding only because we're getting ready to treat, and then we're going to treat so we can recover. And then we can have some extra carbs again. We will be able to have more. You won't want to go back to a typical North American diet unless you want to get sick again, but you definitely can have a few more carbs. It's not going to throw you over the edge because you've treated the infections well enough, but you just don't want to go back to that place. And your taste buds do change. They really, really do. And you're going to go like, I don't even like that anymore. So like with alcohol, when I was younger, we would have alcohol. I was never a beer person. I like more wine, but I haven't had it for so many years that if I'll have a taste of wine, which is once in a blue moon, because I don't really have any reason to, like if somebody says, oh, try this, taste this, I'll have a mouthful and I'll go, that is not even worth it. Like I don't even enjoy it. So what I'm trying to say is that alcohol is an addictive substance. So it's just like sugar. It's not like a neutral substance that is, you just can have it, take it or leave it, right? It's something that if you have it regularly, you're going to crave it. And so then it's like you might think that you really like it a lot, but is it that, or is it just that you're craving it because it's a drug, right? And then when you have symptoms, you know that your microbiome is out of balance. You're dealing with parasites, and they produce a lot of acids. They produce a lot of alcohol, and your liver is working really hard. And so it's not wise to be adding on to that burden for your liver when these parasites are producing massive amounts of alcohol, and they call it auto brewery. The doctors call it auto brewery, where it can actually make people like they're drunk. So your liver has to break that down, and it's just taxing the liver. And we have to protect our liver just like we protect our immune system. That is why we don't recommend alcohol. So this program, and this is maybe for some people, they're not ready for all of that, but it's kind of like if you're at the place where you've suffered terribly and you've been trying things and you've been looking for an answer and you've been hoping and praying for an answer, this is your answer. But it really requires just a whole different approach. It requires, like, if I get my life back like I did, and living disease free comes with, certain things that we give up, but what you get back in response is just like, it's life changing. Like when you get your life back, when you were told that you were never going to do certain things again, and then you're doing them again, you're going to do 10 times more things because you're so excited about life. And you're like, well, I can do this now, and I can do that now, and I never thought I could do this, so I can do that now. And then you still have all of these lovely foods that you really enjoy, and you enjoy them more because they're fresh. They have really good flavor. They make you feel good. You don't have that, you eat too much at Thanksgiving or at Christmas, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I got to go lay down and sleep because I feel like I'm going into a coma. Or maybe you have terrible stomach pain, right? All of that, or just fatigue. No, that's the whole key, is to get you through the holidays, enjoying your food, but then having the energy and the health to do the things you love to do. So those are a few different meal ideas. I'm going to go and see if you have any little questions for me. I was on earlier and there was something wrong with my streaming software. I have no idea why. This is the second challenge that I've had. I've been streaming for years, but I've had 2 in a row. And so I just restarted, but I was talking to myself for like 20 minutes. So yes. Hi, James, but thanks a lot for showing up, even though I was like 20 minutes or half an hour late. So Genia, hello, you're so incredibly welcome. So Joanna's wondering, is turmeric and curcumin supplements safe to take? Absolutely, they're fine to take. Christy, excited to make a casserole that you love to eat. Make it for Christmas this year. Awesome. What can you use what can I use, or can you use a good brand of mayonnaise or one from the health food store? Frida's asking that. So yes, you can. I would try to avoid all of the this soya oil, and also like GMO. Like if you're in Canada or the United States, there's genetically modified canola, soya, all of that. Avoid all of that. So there's avocado oil. The only problem is if you're like a healthy person and you just want to do a healthier mayonnaise, then there is one, I believe it's even in Costco, and it has avocado oil. But ideally you want to avoid vinegar too, white vinegar. And so apple cider vinegar is really the only vinegar that you should have when you're sick with these parasites. I don't know why apple cider vinegar is acceptable. And that's why in our mayonnaise recipe, we just use fresh lemon or lime. It is even safer, but people do seem to tolerate the apple cider vinegar. So you probably can find something like that in a health food store. So Frida says, I'm so glad you're late because I was late. Yes, so all of this, if you just take what we give you and you apply it over the holidays, it's going to create different habits for you and different patterns and different things that you look forward to. And they're very, very tasty and very delicious. I wanted to share with you just how powerful it is to go low carb when you're dealing with these parasites that are causing all the autoimmune diseases, cancer, MS, etc. So we have a nurse that just joined, and she's in Canada, and she started to follow the Live Disease-Free diet only on October the 17th this year. So like not even a month ago. So that's when she decided to start this diet, the Live Disease-Free diet. And in about 3 weeks, before she started the diet, she has multiple sclerosis, but she also had such terrible pain. She said, my pain was 30 out of 10. I was crying. Nothing was helping me. It was just excruciating pain. And she had multiple sclerosis. And then as she changed the diet, as she got her carbs down, and that's the whole point of everything I'm sharing with you, is I'm giving you recipes and meal ideas and appies so that you are going to eat but keep your carbs really low, like a little higher than keto but lower than paleo. So in about 3 weeks on the Live Disease-Free diet, her pain went from a 30 out of 10 down to a 0 out of 10. That's what she told me, zero pain, that's huge. And then also she had improvements, significant improvements in her energy and in her speech. She was able to put weight on her left leg, and she could pivot her leg. That's just in 3 weeks. There's no drugs, MS drugs, that will do that for you. And so that's why I'm telling you this. It's not because I've come up with this master plan. It's because I know that this will change your life. And then once you start to get the carbs lower, and you don't have to wait for Thanksgiving. You can go on our website. You can look up the Live Disease-Free Diet Guidelines. You can start implementing it now. And then by the time you get to Thanksgiving, you'll understand better what you should have and what you shouldn't. And all of that is listed on our blog post. So you can have the ingredients in your home and have that all for the holidays. But then you start to go, oh my gosh, Pam is right. This is life-changing. So I'm dealing with parasites? Yes, you are. And they're not just worms. It can be protozoa, it can be fungi, it can be bacteria, and it can be worms. And it usually is a mix of different things that are causing us to feel so sick. Okay, last couple of questions, and then I'm going to let you guys go. Is Greek yogurt a good substitute for sour cream? If you're sick, no, we wouldn't do any type of dairy products. Mayonnaise would be safe, but no yogurt, kefirs, anything like that we would avoid. The only fermented food we would have is a small amount of raw sauerkraut, bringing it in slowly. Okay, with that, I'm going to let you guys go. So I hope you have a wonderful U.S. Thanksgiving. We love you guys, and we are just wishing you lots of love with all of your family, that you really focus on relationships, and I want you to reflect on what this year has been like for you, what you want 2025 to be like for you. And we want you to have a wonderful holiday season with lots of energy and mental clarity and strength and feeling happy and being able to do the things that you love to do with the people that you love to do that with. So if you like what I share, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you get to that place where you're like, man, I need to treat these parasites, make sure to watch our videos. We've got a lot of amazing videos on YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble, but our blog post on our website is the best, livediseasefree.com. You can pick topics. You will learn a lot. And if you need support in treating these parasites and getting your health and life back so that 2025 will be the best year that you've had in many, many years, make sure to watch my masterclass training. It's free, and it tells you all the steps we take to recover. Other than that, have a wonderful week, and we will talk to you next week. Take care. Bye-bye for now.